coming on, man, and sharing. You know, you and I just want to say this because for as long as we've known each other and we've been friends, I remember you before the movement church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And when I say when you established the movement church, there emerged a whole new Rodney Jackson. I mean, just hands down, man. And I applaud you, brother. I admire the things that you've been doing, and I see stuff that you do, and there's only a handful of people that that when I see stuff, I'll be like, man, I wish I would have thought of that. You know what I'm saying? Or I have it in my mind and I delay it, and then all of a sudden I see you doing it. I'd be like, oh man. You gotta be quicker than that.
Gotta be quicker than that.
You gotta be quicker than that.
Man, I remember I was thinking, I don't know why my mind went to you and I were in the parking lot of, it was Perryman's church, I think.
Jerusalem, yeah.
Yep. We were in the parking lot, man. We talked all night long.
Yeah, man.
Before any of us, as a matter of fact, you were one of the first persons I met because I wanted to learn about Cherry Street Mission. And I remember going up to your office, sit up there, it was hot. It was real hot in that office. Right up there, listening to you, and was learning more about the city as I was moving into the city. So I said, Charles has been a part of our life ever since I've been here.
Man, yeah. Yes, sir. It's been awesome, man. It's just been awesome to see the birth of the movement church, the birth of just so many great ideas that I knew you had in you back then, all the things that you talked about, even while you were serving other people.
Yeah.
You know, while you were here, you know, you had this burning desire on the inside of you to both be and do things differently, out of the box, you know what I mean? And I just admire that, man. You are one of my favorite, truly one of my favorite people. Man,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't make no tears come out of my eyes.
Yeah. And it's just like when I saw your video, and I want you to talk a little bit about that process of buying your new location, because you were in a location that some people would have said was ideal, in the zip code that was ideal. You know what I mean? Budding up to a very affluent community, and I mean, you were actually sandwiched in between two affluent communities.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And a very busy fairway, all of that, and you chose to come back to the urban setting, do urban ministry. You know what I mean? And but I was watching your video that you just did about the testimony of you and your wife closing, signing the papers. Literally, man, the week before that, we did the same thing.
Isn't that awesome?
The same thing, man. I mean, in the middle of Corona, we sit there signing.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and it was done like we didn't even it was an attorney was providing the closing, and so the previous owners, they met with them separately, right, and did all the paperwork, and then they came to our office, met with us separately, we did all the paperwork, and I was like, man, you know. And so I was conflicted whether or not I wanted to post about it, right? And then I saw your testimony. I'm like, hey, man.
Post it, man. Let everybody know what's going on.
Yeah, man. It's because sometimes when we make moves and we say, you know, God is blessing us and God is doing this in our ministry, you have people that generally will celebrate with you and celebrate you for it. You know, and we both know, man, we also have people that would definitely, you know,
hate you for it.
hate you, like,
Yep.
and hate on you, and
Yep.
make subliminal posts and messages and
Yep.
all the other kind of stuff, man. And I just and I but anyway, I'm happy for you, man. I'm happy for the
Man,
move,
thank you.
and I just welcome you, man, on this platform for us. It's not just
Really?
ministry context; it's also
Mm-hmm.
business. But I wanted to really just have a variety of topics, man, that really can help
That's
other
good.
ministers and leaders. We have some entrepreneurs that are, really
Mm-hmm.
killing the game, man, doing great things
That's good.
with their things. And also pastors like yourself, man, that is just innovative, thinking outside the box, doing things
Mm-hmm.
differently while everybody else is trying to move to the suburbs. You like, no, I want to go
Came
back to
back in.
context.
Exactly.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about that, man, where, you know, we know it's all the Lord's leading and different things of
Right.
that nature. But what was that pivotal point that you just said, I want to be here, and this is
Yeah.
what you're calling me.
Well, for us, so I grew up in Newark, New Jersey. I say it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I try to say it in every video I do because I just want people to know. I came from a context of my dad did real well for Newark, but it was the
Okay.
hood. Nevertheless, it was the hood. I saw gang violence. I saw people get beat up. I saw people get shot. I saw people get jumped. I've run from home so many times. Ran home so many times. People chased me.
Man.
But I started to think about the church that I grew up in. The church that I grew up in was called Abyssinian Baptist Church. It was smack dab in the hood. You had to take the bus and walk like a mile of the most dangerous streets in Newark to get to this church.
Wow.
And I started thinking about it. I said, man, as dangerous as those streets were, I never got beat up. I never got shot at. The Lord always gave me safe passage to my church. We were next to one of the most ruthless called Prince Street Project. We were next to the most ruthless crackheads, gang violence projects. I think this project was 30 floors without an elevator. So this is that Nino Brown type of look. This is
Right.
exactly what it was. And our church, we did baseball, we did basketball, we did volleyball, we did Easter hunt, we did everything with those projects. And we were surrounded by a whole bunch of projects. But our church made sure, and then we moved from that building to another building right back in the hood again. We had enough money, we had enough members, but we stayed in the hood. And I'm telling you, Charles, I started thinking about that as I was thinking about our church. I'm like, man, here we are. I left the doors of the church open in our old building, I think for the whole week. I wasn't even sure. We came in, we opened the door, and I said, that felt good, but that didn't feel good.
Yeah.
I said, and even though it was good that nobody stole anything, I said, I didn't even consider nobody even walking past our building, no one coming up in that area, because where we were, though, was a good environment, I needed to see people. You got to see the hurts of people. I've always felt like, man, you can't tell a drug addict what his problem is until you've asked him what his problem is.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Right.
So if I can tell you, man, you need to get off the street, you need to stop being homeless, that's kind of hard. I remember when you were showing me Cherry Street Mission, I went down to their, I think at your leading, I went down to the soup kitchen or wherever that big place was on the corner.
Yeah.
And one of the guys there is a white dude. He was, I said, man, let me just ask you a question, man. What brought you down here? He started telling me. I said, what's your name? He said, something Stranahan. I said, hey, man, are you like related to the wealthy Stranahans?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the grandson. Man, that hit me like a ton of bricks.
Yeah.
I said, so here I'm thinking, you just down on your luck, you're lazy, you don't want to do nothing. But here's a person who has access to money, but refused to get it because he was having internal problems.
Yeah.
And that hit me. I said, and that's what made me think about our church. I said, man, we in a nice area. We hooked it up the way we want to. Everything was just perfect, in my opinion.
Yes.
And the Lord started saying, you got to go back in. You out here, and I'm not out here. I may be out here with some other people, but I ain't out here with you.
Right.
And so for the whole year of 2019, from January on, almost every message I preach, I said, guys, we got to go to the hood. I said, we just have to. We have to. So every message, when I made every message, I made sure I put in there, I would write hood and say work. I would write hood and say work. And then when I would get to a certain point in the message, and I would go just like the hood. Jesus went, and wherever it was in the scripture, I would work that hood context as much as I can to let everybody know we going to the hood. So every message, there wasn't a message I didn't preach. If I was preaching on vision, I preached on the hood. If I was preaching on finances, I preached on the hood. And I'm not saying hood in a bad way. I'm saying my context is African American, and it's not a bad thing, but I wanted to go and help that context as much as I possibly could.
Yeah.
And I felt that we were not, as a church, being true to what I believe God was calling us to do.
Wow.
So we prepared our church a whole year. Can't nobody in our church say, man, you sprung this on us. Yeah, where this come from?
Right.
Man, we've been talking about this for longer. We did all of our outreach. We went into the hood. We did it every chance we got. We found a park. We started giving away free stuff. We started doing medical screenings. I'm like, wherever there's a parking hood, let's just go there and do something.
Go there and do it, yeah.
So
And
we try to familiarize.
The one thing I really love about your context of ministry, and I try to get other guys and women to think this way as well. You naturally think this way. You naturally think collaboration and partnership.
Right.
I mean, that's you think that way off the rip. You know what I mean? Like you don't you know, and you don't mind sharing the secrets behind it, right? Like you know, and man, I remember one year you did this gas giveaway.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, man, it was done so well and so slick. But I remember calling you and just kind of getting some information and some things like that, because one of the things I really try not to do is I try not to be in competition with or do things that other people put us in competition with each other, because oftentimes I do believe ministries are not in competition with each other. I think other people put ministries in competition with each other, because the pastors generally, you know, they're just trying to do good ministry. And then we don't think about it as, you you think territory and area where, you know, a lot of other people, man, be like, you know, no, this is mine. That's, you know, no, you can't be that way, man. You can't.
Not at all.
So yeah, hats off to you, man, because you I mean, you just walked me through everything you did with the gas giveaway, you know, how it was and the pitfalls from it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
the whole thing really is, if we're doing the same thing, I've always said that we work for the same guy.
Yes.
Ultimately, we all work for the same guy. So if he has you over here doing something and me over here doing something, why not share the resources?
Yes.
So that means we're covering a larger amount of territory than if I do it and get the credit for it versus Charles do it, we both get the credit for it.
Both, yeah.
So ultimately, excuse me, I got bronchitis. Because ultimately, he's going to look at us both and go, did you both help the area? And I'm like, yeah, you know, no, I didn't help Charles out. I kept it to myself, Lord. And he's like, you slothful servant, you know, you could at least put that in interest or something. But why keep it to myself? Why not let it, you know, people call me about the gas giveaway. I said, man, this is what I did. This is what I messed up on. Do the same thing that I did that was good.
Yeah.
Here's where I should have got more money for it. I said, if I was you, this is what I would do. Don't do it because you're trying to show off. Do it because at that time, we were having a lot of people that were losing their jobs and gas was getting high.
Yes.
So I was like, this is a perfect time now to do that. And when we did it, we raised our own money, but actually one of my Caucasian friends called me up and said, man, what you doing? I said, man, I need to try to get some money for some gas money. He said, how much you need? I said, $1,500. He said, I'll put it in the mail today. Yeah. And I've learned. I'm like, okay, now why would I hold that to myself?
Right.
That would be crazy.
Right.
He just blessed me with $1,500. Why would I hold that?
Right.
I found the secret to continuing to get more is to keep giving it away.
Keep giving it away.
Keep giving it away.
Man. And you know, it's like it's the filled cup principle, right? Like,
yeah,
you cannot fill up a cup that's not empty. You know
exactly.
what I mean? God can't pour into you if you're not pouring out to other people.
Exactly.
You know, and I really believe in you know, and not to offend any of your Bible scholars out there and theologians, but when the Bible says where you're not able to teach, you should be teaching, but you know, you're just a learner, right? You're still not teaching. And I think a part of that, not the context is not you not doing what you know, growing enough to, you're just not sharing what you got.
And that's
right?
crazy.
If you're not sharing what you got, you can't get more in.
You can't get no more. You're going to be stuffed up with what you have.
Yes.
Old preacher told me years ago, he said, 2 halves don't make a whole, Rodney. Because I would say, hey, man, here's my wife, my better half. I kept saying that, my better half.
Yeah.
He said, come here, let me talk to you for a second. He said, 2 halves don't make a whole. I said, what you talking about? That's my better half. He said, so if she pours out of herself into you, what does she have left? We all have to work on what we have to help each other out.
Yes.
And the more you continue to give away to people, especially in ministry, unfortunately, we've got this whole idea that ministry is competitive.
Yeah.
And it's not.
It's not.
It's not. There are so many things we all could be doing if we all work the ministry God has given us, and we can have a united front together to say, man, if God did it for me, he can do the same thing for you. And you may even do greater work than I'm doing.
Yeah.
You never even know.
Yeah, you never know. And I think that multiplying principle, right? Like the 2 fish and the 5 loaves. We bring what we have, God multiplies it, right? Yep. Now here's the thing. Jesus just did not take the 2 fish and 5 loaves and distribute it himself. He told every one of his disciples to distribute it, right?
Exactly.
So each one of them start to distribute, right? And now here it is. Can you imagine? There's one resource here, and that resource seems very minimum to compare to the need, right? And we notice when you do urban ministry and ministry in urban context, the need always outweighs the resources.
Always
outweighs. I mean, when we started doing housing, I was like, I mean, oh Lord, you know, we still cannot keep up to the amount of applications we get, to the amount of houses that we can turn around and put homeless families in. You know what I mean? Like that, we can't keep up with it. And so, but can you imagine? Here it is, this huge need, small resources, but we all come to fill up our baskets to take out. And that's how I view ministry, is that Jesus has the resources. And if you look at the resources and say, this ain't enough,
right?
And it's never going to be enough. But if you just look at God and not the resource and say, God, multiply whatever resources are there, then I don't mind sharing with you. I don't mind
do
you. I don't mind. I can't tell you how many churches we've put projectors in, TV screens in, sound systems in. And because I had it, we gave it. You know what I mean? And it seemed like the more I gave up, the more I have. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
what he does.
Yeah. I remember a couple of years ago, I was asking my son, why do we still have all this sound equipment? And I know we didn't give it away. And he says donations, people just keep dropping off more stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the way it always should be, man. We've done the same thing. When we needed a new drum set, I said, give the one that we have away. Yeah. We needed a new sound system. I said, give the one that we have away. And is you sure? One pastor called me. She said, sir, I got to give you something for the drum set. I said, if anything you can give me, please give me prayer. I said, I don't want to dime for it. I said, I'm not rich. I don't have it like that. I said, but I've always felt that everything God has given us is because we've given so much stuff away. I said, please. I said, here's the only thing I would ask you to do. I said, when you get a better drum set, give that one to somebody else. I said, keep the blessing going. And the more you do that, and unfortunately, a lot of churches don't see it like that. I've had people come down church, send their sound people over. Man, tell us how you're doing what you're doing. Tell us how you do the videos you're doing. I said, be truthful, man, I've looked all this up on YouTube and Google. I said, I've learned it enough now. Here's what you need to buy. As a matter of fact, I got 2 of these. You can take that one. I don't need that no more. I said, here's what you need to look at. These are the screens I looked at. This is how we make our graphics. I said, this is the software I use for this. I said, man, and all this is free. Are you telling me everything you do is for free? I said, I done figured out a way, man. I said, but what I have is yours, bro. You can have everything. Because it ain't my church.
Right.
It ain't mine. It ain't mine. I'm like, dude, this is the church I pastor, but it ain't mine. Yeah. So if we're showing graphics or videos, I'm like, man, you show graphics and videos to your church. Do the best you can with what you have.
With what you have.
With what you have. And don't be afraid to give away what you have. I said, because God will give you more. We've lived that since the beginning of our church, Charles, and we have never changed that. Yeah. And won't.
Yeah. And, and I was listening to actually one of your mentors and spiritual covering, Dr. Vernon.
Dr. Vernon.
Yeah. And, man, which I had a chance to meet him some years ago. I think it was probably back in 2007 before he had all the campuses and everything. But they had just bought that one building with the sports complex building back then.
Yes.
And some people that was on my team and board at the time, they heard about some of the stuff he was doing in Cleveland and thought we should connect, right? And so they called him up. Man, when I say they rolled out the red carpet for us, man, it was just such a, I have nothing but respect for right? And I hope that one day again I can get that chance to sit in that presence again and just ask the questions I was able to ask that day. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because now, those questions was where I was at then. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have the
different ones now.
You've grown some and stuff like that. So I appreciate that. But I was listening to him saying the other day, do what you can do on your budget, right? You know what I mean? Like focus your budget and you do that. You know what I'm saying? You might not be able to grab and have a full praise team behind you.
Nope.
Have it piped in and where the sound is crisp for your online streaming, this and that. And so, man, that's so key, is that we can still share with people the principles and then scale it for them to do it on their budget. You know,
exactly.
On their thing. Like, and I think that sometimes, because I know for me, I'm a perfectionist, right? So I want to have everything perfected before I do something. And I remember I was talking to one of my mentors, and he said, if you wait for that to be perfected, then how is God going to get the glory out of other people's growth? Right? Other people got to witness your struggle in your growth.
They do.
In order for them to glorify God, because they know only God could have did that, right?
That's right.
So, and I think, and that's everything, man, that's been in ministry, from, man, I remember my first sermon. I'm like, ooh, Lord. When I think back now, I'm hoping nobody got no tapes, brother.
I wouldn't listen. And let me say this. And one of the things I tell people is whatever you do, have a reason behind what you're doing. Don't do it because everybody else is doing it.
Yeah.
So for us, when people start coming to our church, well, we didn't have a praise and worship team.
Right.
I can't sing to save my life. My wife, So I said, well, why don't we just buy a TV, hook it up to YouTube, and have YouTube do it, and I'll just sing along with them, and we'll get everybody involved.
Yes.
So we did that. We were in the gym. People come in and see this little bald-headed black dude singing with Hezekiah Walker. Every hit they have, I would be right there with them. And everybody go, what the heck? This dude don't have a praise team, but he's got a choir in the background. Hezekiah is singing, and he got the nerve to be singing along with Hezekiah.
Yeah.
And so when people came to our church, they said, so you use your screens for that. I said, we only use screens because I didn't have a praise team.
Yeah.
Now, I knew other people were getting screens. I said, but we didn't have a reason for them. I didn't have any scriptures to put up. I didn't want to have screens just to have screens.
You're right.
Our screens was because I needed y'all to not look at me, to look at Hezekiah or Israel Houghton. I would tell everybody every Sunday, Israel's going to be at our church this Sunday, so you definitely want to be there on this Sunday. So I needed people to take the focus off of me and put on him or whoever was on the screen. I did that for praise and worship. I had them queued up when we was getting ready time to do the altar call. I said, cue it up, whoever we got singing, and everybody will look at those screens and not look at me. Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is good to go. So I've always told people, I just had another pastor call me about certain things we were doing. I said, man, have a reason for what you're doing. Don't just put stuff in your church because you see other people doing it. Have a reason behind it. That way you can, not use a bad word, but sell it, but help your congregation get involved in it. I said, then after that, we went from one screen to two, because at one point, everybody's looking on one side of the church, and I would point over there. I said, y'all look over here at this screen right here. Then somebody else bought us another screen. So then we had two. Then we start moving into using it for announcements, using it for our my preaching and all that stuff. Now we use it primarily for our preaching and the words for what they're singing now. I mean, I went from me being a praise and worship leader to now having a full praise team. So I always tell people, just whatever you're doing, have a reason behind it. Because I felt like if I would get the hood brother to walk in our church and I can get him to look at that screen and not at me, I said he may get more involved in that and be like, and I'm telling you, brothers will come in, head, hat turned backwards, pants sagging down. You see them over there doing like this because they got into the screens. Yeah. I took the focus off of me so they can get involved. And whatever context you know your ministry is going to be in, man, I knew I was going to be the urban. I said, you got to make sure these people don't see you. They got to see Christ.
They got to see Christ. And that's really where our job is as ministers anyway, is to point people to the Savior. Like I don't have a heaven or hell to put you in. I don't have power. I don't have anything outside of God, right? Like nothing. And so talk to me about this a little bit because one, maintaining faith, energy, and just forward movement in the middle of a crisis. Like, I mean, man, like and churches and ministries go through crisis for different reasons at different times. Right. We've gone through crisis based on financial slumps, you know what I mean? And different things of that nature. We've gone through crisis because my own stupidity and idiotic mistakes, I can admit it, hey, I done made a lot of mistakes, right? And so we go through crisis because of that. We go through crisis because of just natural disaster things or whatever it may be. But in the middle of this crisis, after preparing your church for the move and all these different things, you still had forward movement, you still had energy, and man, you still had faith going all the way to move your church, to still make the move, to still buy the building, to still, versus hunkering down and staying put and all those type of things. You did it. So talk to us about that, man, of how does that generate inside of you to maintain that while the world was on shut down, you was moving?
I've always believed this one thing, Pastor Charles. I never believe the hype about myself. I just never do. And so I purposely put the performance on God. Now, I'm like, you told me in 2019 to talk about a building or a moving to an area we know nothing about. I said, then you let me put this building under contract in January. I said, you sent Corona or let it happen, one of the two, while March was going on. You knew we were going to be empty. So obviously nothing that I'm doing is working. So I've never put the hype on myself. I've never believed I was so good at what I was doing that all the things that God was doing in our lives is because of me. It was all because of him. Yeah. And so I would sit there at night and go, okay, this is your plan. And I'm not saying this in a spiritual way, because a lot of people say, man, that sounds easy. And I'm like, no, this is the truth. I made sure that I started looking back, and you've done it before. You look back and some of your worst messages, more people got saved than ever.
Yes.
And you're like, man, that was raggedy. I wasn't hermeneutically sound. Oh, I forgot to say this.
Stayed up too late Saturday night
I
on date
made
night
up
or something.
stuff. I'm like, I tried to hoop and nobody listened. I'm like, how did people say that was the best message ever? And God had to remind me, because it ain't about you, partner. It's all about me. So I started putting the onus, and my wife and I said, let's put our faith back on God. It's nothing we've done. It's not because Tameka and Rodney are so good at what they do that they'll be able to move this building. So during that whole process, I mean, what hurt us the most is when we moved into the building March 1st and had those first 2 jam-packed services. Then that third Sunday, they shutting churches down. The first thing that hit my mind was, I got to get this money. I got to get 25% of finance together. God, why are you going to let people lose their jobs? I need that money. And I'm going through all these, and Lord said, I told you, it ain't about you. Yeah. I'm just keep. So I started putting my energy more in him. And the Lord just said, do what the name of the church says, man. Just keep it moving. So I just kept it moving. I just kept it moving. And I use this time now to be more in tune with the ideas that I believe he's given me for the ministry. And I just started putting myself into that more and more. There was times, man, I was sitting there going, man, this don't look good at all.
Yeah.
Because we actually got denied from our lender. We got denied. I think I told you, I wasn't sure. But when I talked to you that time I was in Savannah, it was a good away trip for me because I needed to get my mind away from everything I was dealing with. Right. I'm like, man, we got denied by the lender. Then they came back and approved us and said, now you got to put 25% down. I'm like, 25? I ain't even got 10 yet.
Right.
So we kept going. And my wife, who's a very good encourager, man, she kept saying, stay with it. You are the face of the movement. You got to keep moving. Don't stop. Don't let nobody see you sweat. I said, all right, let's just keep going. She said, preach like it's 1,000 people in here. I said, okay, I'm going to keep going. She said, you've done it before. You do it again. It's the same God. Man, before we knew it, we kept it going. And we kept our faith in the fact that he said it. I didn't say it. Mm-hmm. I just did exactly. I'm telling you, Charles, I would have rather stayed out where we were. I ain't going to lie.
Yeah.
I ain't going to lie.
I mean, you guys had it looking nice. I mean, you had just redid the backdrop, the logo on there, God. Man. It was so slick.
I had an office 4 times the size I got now. I know I'm just being selfish now. But I'm like, man, we had everything. Parking, free reign of the building. The landlord loved me. I loved him.
Yeah.
The neighbors loved me. I loved them. We didn't have we had no problems.
Wow.
None. And so us moving, and even while we were moving, I'm like, this don't look right. This just doesn't look right. But I've always found out whatever the Lord wants you to do, if you really get lockstep with what he's asking you to do, the energy for the faith comes. Mm-hmm. It really does. The energy for the faith comes. And I just said, okay, this is what you want. If I look crazy doing this, it's going to be on you, not me.
Yeah.
And I just kept going with it as much as I possibly could. And before I knew it, man, and actually it grew my family stronger because we had times where we had places that we were just apparent with each other, transparent. Like, this ain't looking right.
Yeah.
You mean we're moving from here to there? And when we were moving, and I knew it was coming, I said, Lord, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. I lost my deacon, and I lost one of our leaders. Right on the last Sunday of our last service in that building was the last Sunday. I lost somebody. I lost a deacon, and I lost a leader. I mean, 2 great people in our ministry who I love to this day. It's not a problem with that. But right before we moved, I said, you mean to tell me the first Sunday of my first new building, I just lost two major people. And God said, I'm about to show you, bro. You ain't gonna have nothing to do with this blessing at all.
Wow.
And he did it, bro.
Man,
he did it.
There was a couple things in there, man. There was that was so rich. A lot of just in that story, in that concept by itself. But in one of the points that you had made, that you had to. It wasn't about you, and not making it about you. And I want to encourage people. I got in a couple weeks we have this. We're going to be talking about how good men fall, but better ones rise.
Right.
And actually, I have a guest that's coming on that's talking about his story of fall, rise, and getting back up. I'm going to be sharing a little bit about mine, and I've been really hesitant. Sometimes you get a little nervous to talk. You don't want to share too much, but then, hey, God, you give me this whole concept to be transparent and vulnerable, so that other leaders don't make the same mistakes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or they can learn from those things. But I just know in just a short snippet, man, that when things became about me, that's when God removes.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He
takes that off.
Thing, man. And so I just want to tell people, tune into that or find that if you're watching them out of order, you know what I mean? To find that
exactly
glass table talk, man, because there's some good things in there. The second thing, man, that you said is that your wife kept encouraging you and pushing you, right? And I just want to encourage people, man, you got to find people around you that can keep pushing and encouraging you. You know what I'm saying? And I know for me, I have, sometimes you have to tell people I need to be encouraged. You know what I mean? But now when your wife is there, they see it. You know what I mean? I know my wife see it. She, she's like, your face don't look right. I can just like, what you mean? My face don't look right.
Right.
What I mean? But then, it's encouraging. She pushes. And so just talk for a minute, man, about how key that is to have that partner with you, and how key was that for you to keep moving? Like really, was you like going to give up? Like what?
Yeah. I don't think there's no important asset that the Lord has given us than our spouses. I really don't. My children are wonderful. They're going to support us regardless, whether I fail or not. They may tell me the right things or wrong things. I really don't do it. But the person that you need in your corner the most is your spouse.
Yeah.
She or he, whoever listening, that one person can make or break you. And it has to be clear that they know who God is in you. Because if they don't, because I see a lot of marriages fail because they've fallen in love with that person rather than the God of that person. Yeah. And one of the things, I've been married before. So before I got married to my wife, I waited a while before I got married because I wasn't sure of who I was. I didn't know my favorite color. I didn't know what type of food I liked. If you asked me what my favorite movie, I'd be like, I really don't know. Because I always let somebody else make those decisions for me. Wow. But when I finally got that place where I was with that, I looked for somebody who was just as committed to God as I was. And I was blessed to be able to find Tameka Jackson because she's, if not even more sold out. This time I wake up in the morning, man, I go to the front room. My wife is laying before the Lord, reading her Bible. So I'm at peace when she gives me instructions.
Yes.
When she tells me that ain't God. No, I know what you do. After a good service, I'm dripping. I got people wiping my head off, and I'm like, whoo. She's like, that wasn't God. That was all you. Now it's okay. That was you, but you told everybody that was God. That had nothing to do with them. Yeah. This is what you need to do next time when you get back up there. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
But the reason she could speak into my life is because I see the God in her. Yeah. I watch how God uses her. I watch her spend, upteen amounts of time in her word.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people, they have the facade of ministry, but they don't have personal devotion. They don't have personal time with the Lord. My wife can catch me coming to the bedroom and I'm on my knees praying to God.
Yeah.
But that's good for me. I need to see the same thing with you.
Right.
I need to see the same thing. I'm not saying that we're perfect. No, that's far from it.
Right.
But for her to be able to speak into my life in the times that I wanted to give up, because especially when we lost our leaders, I didn't know how to respond. So I kind of I try to broke away from everybody. And I think I sat in my car for a while. My wife said, "Where you at?" I said, "I'm in the driveway." She said, "You're thinking about it, ain't you?" I said, "Yeah, a little bit." She said, "Okay, this is what we need to do." And I'm like, bam!
Yeah.
Girl, you own it.
Yeah.
Help me see it from a different perspective, that this had to happen. And I know people say that this is so wrong when people do this. People say that they went to trouble and you were my trouble and God removed you so then my church can grow. That wasn't necessarily true. The trouble happened so that I can grow.
Yes.
It wasn't for my church to grow. God had to get rid of you. That sounds churchy, but that wasn't true. The truth was, this next level, I need to hurt you. I need for you to go through this pain. You and your wife gonna have to experience some pain before y'all go to this next level, because this next level cannot be attained by you not feeling anything.
Right.
And I was like, wow. So my wife said, "This ain't about them. It's about you."
Yeah.
You done got comfortable. You ready to roll. And I had to take something away from you.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Unbelievable. So the importance of a wife, man, please.
Man. Listen, I had gotten, and I remember when I became a teenager, I was raised by my great grandparents. Talked about that before. And I mean, my mom and dad was around. It's not like they strung out or anything like that. They somehow or another, when they were young, my mother was 17, my dad was 19. So, so I just think they brought me there and I just ended up growing up there. You know what I'm saying? I never grew up there. And but man, I remember becoming a teenager, this whole thing about abandonment hit me, right? And man, and it's just like I had gotten so immune to people leaving, like it just you know it, I when you showed up, I expected you to leave. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just that's just the reality of it. And sometimes I probably even push people away to see if they would leave, and not just subconsciously, not knowing that's what I was doing. And but man, when you talked about that you had to feel something, I had gotten so immune, I stopped feeling about people leaving. Like I just didn't say anything about it. And I remember somebody on my team said to me, she said, they said, you can just cut people off so quick. Done. Like what is that? Like what is that really about? Because I never allowed myself to attach to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not good, because when you got leaders and people that you need, they need to feel the weight of you leaning on them at times.
Exactly. They do.
But I really wasn't putting my weight on people, because I was always, as soon as I put my weight on you, you're gonna leave. You know what I'm saying? And that's something I had to carry with me, that I really thought I got delivered from. The Holy Ghost came from it, this and that. But what you sparked something there, because when I went through this last situation I had to go through, man, that's really what it was. I mean, I had to feel it.
Yeah.
Like, I hadn't felt that level of abandonment since I was a teenager, right? Like when it came on me back then, I think I just learned how to go through life with it.
Right.
But this time, man, I had to really lay before God and get healed from it.
Yep.
Like I had no other choice, because man, I felt like I was gonna lose it, bro. Lose it. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I just remember it was on my birthday, 2000, what's this, 20 now, 2018, my birthday, 2018. my plan was to either take myself out or get in my car and drive and leave
Yeah.
everything else behind. That's,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying? Like that was that's where my mind was. Like I felt like
Wow.
everything and everybody else was better off without me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
and you talking about this space. And it wasn't until February of 2019, man, that God gave me a breakthrough. And he gave me a breakthrough
Praise God.
with a rebuke.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With the rebuke came the breakthrough. And he said to me, you cannot hold on to me in your image too.
I'm telling you.
You got to let one of us go.
Gotta let one go.
Man, that was so freeing for me because if I hold on to me, I'm dying.
Right.
If I hold on to you, I'm living. You know what I'm saying? And
exactly.
so, man, that was so freeing for me.
That's good.
And it was just like that healing point of all the pain I had to feel was wrapped up in that one statement.
In that one statement.
In that one statement, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I tell you, bro, it's just, I mean, and ever since then, so, you know, I took a year, didn't do a lot of ministry, didn't do, you know, the basic stuff, kept things moving. But I don't think I could have been, I don't think I could have what you just said. And my third point I got out of what you said, energy for the faith.
Right.
Move forward, right?
Yeah.
I mean, to purchase first of all, to even put in when I say no, like I had no idea where money was going to come from. Right? No idea. But we put the proposal in for the use of the building, right? So I'm thinking they were going to come back, say, this is how much the rent is going to be. This is how much. Their counter to me was, that's a great, we would love to have you in this community. We think you're an asset to the community.
Right.
And we think you would be a great strategic partner, right? So what we're going to do is, this is how much we're going to sell the building to you for.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, that's great. I mean, people was rejoicing about it, but on the inside, I was still thinking, well, where's that going to come from?
Exactly. Where that money coming from?
Where is that going to come from? Man, and when I tell you, brother, when we got the down payment to sign on that line, man, for that thing, man, I was just, but you know, you said something key, man, that the energy for the faith to move forward. And so talk a little bit about that mechanism, because I always say your faith needs confidence. Now I think I'm going to add, your faith needs your confidence and your energy, right? Yeah. I mean, that's
the bottom line.
Yeah, yeah. So just minister to us a little bit about that, man, of really tapping into that energy, having that energy, because again, you were in the middle of a crisis. Yeah. One, there was a financial crisis because you didn't have what was needed, and then in the middle of that, two, which exasperated the crisis was, hey, we shutting all churches down. Like, you can't.
Exactly. Well, you know, it's I've always, when you said faith for the energy for the faith, scripture that normally comes to my mind is, the faith without works is dead. And for us, with no money, not knowing what was going to happen, moving to a new building, losing key leaders, trying to figure out who's going to go with us and who was not going to go with us, even though I've been preaching it for a whole year. Talk about getting somebody ready, and in my mind, I didn't think anybody was still ready, because as soon as we start putting out, getting the pledges, nothing was coming in. And I'm like, okay, this is, you know, I thought this would be a little bit easier than I expected, and especially the people that we targeted to give money for us, they would have, I hate to say that, but the brokest one, they were like, hey, we ain't got it. I'm like, but you always got money, and we ain't got it this time. So the monies we received came from weird sources. People, one particular source, and I gotta say this, we got a major seed from somebody in New Jersey. I lived at the street called 28 Poe Avenue. At the end of our block was 82 Poe Avenue. The guy that I knew named Darnell Brown is still alive. He has two sisters and a brother. Well, I never really knew his sisters. I knew his brother, but I never really knew his sister. We called her Jeannie.
Yeah.
Never. That was it. You know, that's my friend down the street. He's got 2 sisters. That's it. Now, I haven't lived in Jersey for, I don't know, 35 years or more. All of a sudden, we get this message, I want to sow into your ministry. And it's this lady. I'm going, who the heck is she? She sends this amazing gift. So I'm doing the research. I'm like, I got to figure out who this lady is. It happened to be my friend who's down the street.
Wow.
One of his sisters that I barely knew. She said, I've been watching you for the last few years do ministry. She said, I watch you on Facebook. I watch you on Instagram. I watch what you do. She said, first of all, she was shocked that a hood brother like me would end up doing ministry. So I guess that was a good thing.
Yeah.
She said, but you have so much given me faith because I knew where you came from. And for you to be doing what you're doing when I knew your background, I said, wait a minute. This lady's not on my list. She's not on my list of donors that I need to get money from. She blessed my wife and I with a huge seed. And what helps me is when you having faith, having energy for the faith is you don't know who's watching.
Yeah.
That's why at certain points you got to have somebody, a spouse, somebody who'll tell you now's not the time to give up. Now there are times when we need our sabbaticals, we need our woosahs, we need those. But there's certain times in ministry where you need somebody in your life that's going to go, you can't give up now. This is, I don't know why, but this is no strange reason, but you can't. So I started thinking, man, suppose I would have gave up. Suppose I'd have stopped posting. Suppose I'd have stopped talking about this hood ministry. Suppose I'd have just gave up on a building. This lady who's been watching me would have saw that gap of no ministry from me. Yeah. So when I say, man, you gotta have energy with your faith for the energy, energy for the faith, you gotta know that there are people that God has strategically put in your life that have been watching you for a while. And they're watching what you're doing. This is why I tell people I can't fall in certain areas. I'm like, I can't fall in an area. I don't know who's watching me. I can't afford it. Yeah. I just cannot afford it. Because God has shown, I mean, we've got countless testimony of people sending us money from people that I don't really even know. Yeah. I don't know them. Right. And I want to call this dude, my man, did you know your sister sent me all this money? Yeah. But I ain't calling him because I didn't want him to get mad or jealous because he might need some money himself. But God allowed all that to happen. So when I say you got to have energy with your faith, you can't afford to slow down. There's certain points in your life that momentum has to be garnered through your work. It just has to. There's that point where God's going to always come in. There's no question. But when you get on a bicycle, you pedal first before you get a chance to get further down the road. You got to put some work into it. Now, there's a time that you can take off and let the thing guide or let the bike ride. But then at a certain point, the bike will slow down again. You got to get back in there and pedal again. Yeah. So my thing is, I can't afford to not keep pedaling. There are times where God be like, you ain't got to pedal now, brother. I got you for at least another month or two. Right. We're going to live off of me. Yeah. But it's going to slow down again. And that's what's helped me with the movement church. We have decided in our hearts to not slow down. Like, we can't slow down. Well, we ain't got this. I said, well, we can't slow down. I can't worry about that. We got to keep moving. We'll address that later. Let's keep. Well, we don't have no drummer. I can't worry about it right now. Sunday service is still going on. I'll make some call. If we don't get it, we're going to keep going. But we ain't got no praise and worship leader. Okay, I still got to keep going. Those things are important, but they're not critical to how God continues my momentum. Because he's looking at, dude, I gave you the task. Keep it going. Yeah. I'm going to have some loopholes and some bumps and some what they call potholes, but you got to keep going. Yeah. So you can't stop your momentum. You got, as a pastor, you cannot afford in certain areas of your life to slow down. Yeah. You've got to keep going. There are times, of course, you will slow down, fatigue, you need a woosah with your wife. You know, my wife and I, we travel to Cleveland. We used to do it every month. We slowed down now, but when this is back over, you better believe I'm going right to Cleveland. But we do that to get a hotel, to get away, to do certain things, Charles.
Yes.
To make a lot of love.
Yes.
To eat out as much as we possibly can.
Yes.
And to lay around like couch potatoes. All we do. We love jazz, we do that, but I'm like, honey,
right,
we're about to make a lot of love.
Yeah.
We're about to eat as much as we can, and we're gonna go to these jazz places and just chill. No ministry, no nothing. You need those markers, what I reflect as markers in your life that keep you sane with your family.
Yeah, man.
So I got those.
Yes.
But then there's times when you're in ministry, you be like, I gotta keep going, bro. You can't afford to slow down, wait for everybody else, get everybody else's opinion, get everybody else's approval. I'm like, no, I can't do that, man. You just got to keep going.
You got to keep going. And
I
love that, man, because momentum is so important.
Yes, it is.
To vision, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And there's various ways people get momentum and how those things. Mm-hmm. What I really like, like, oh man, the name just slipped my mind, but he's talked about the flywheel principle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the flywheel principle, you know, it may start off slow, but once it picks up momentum, it becomes unstoppable.
Yeah.
And so you have to build that momentum up so it becomes unstoppable. And here it is. How do you maintain momentum, or how have you all maintained momentum when our whole nation came to a hard stop?
We kept going. We act like nothing happened. We act like nothing. We still have our meetings. We still were meeting. Excuse me. Whether it's Zoom, we like to think on Microsoft Teams. Yes. We were like, still meet, guys. We're still meeting. We're still planning. We're still coming together, whether it's by video or whatever. We kept going. The world stopping, in my opinion, did not catch God off guard. Mm-hmm. So, though I had to adjust, I still don't stop. I got to adjust because I can't have church in terms of a congregation being here physically, but I still don't stop.
Right.
So I'm like, why would you stop? You still got ministry to do.
Yeah.
You still got work to do. There's still unfulfilled things that God has for us that I still got to get a hold to. So we just decided, I'm like, we ain't stopping, y'all. Now, when they tell us we can't meet no more, that's cool. But we still not stopping. Monday mornings, we still meet. Wednesday nights, we still talking. Saturday mornings, we still going over what we went through for the last week or whatever our plans were, where we at with this. And you adjust, but you don't stop. So we didn't stop at all, man. We still going. Matter of fact, we got so much about to come out. I can't wait. We got so much on the rise now that's going to help us really see if we're really where God wants us to be. Yeah. So, we're about to turn it up even 100 times hotter.
Yeah, man. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for you. And it's like, and it's interesting because a lot of times our ministries, without designing or talking all the time, our ministries have parallel each other to a large degree. And I remember, we used to be in the south end of Toledo. We moved out. You guys now moved in.
Yeah.
Moved out, not because it wasn't a good area for ministry. The church went through so many transitions. And so my personal life was going through a transition. We were transitioning with leaders and all these different things. And so when we decided to just say, okay, we're just going to step back from all of this, for a minute, regroup, re-strategize, let some things, smooth over a little bit first.
Right.
You know what I mean? All that. God began to highlight this particular community that we're in now in Central City. You know what I mean? And I remember actually being at lunch with my wife, and so every Friday, we have lunch together. So
Right.
you got to have, when you talk about
Good.
those rituals, those things. You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
Like, listen, I done went through loss of you know what I'm
Right.
saying? You should be learning from some stuff, right?
Exactly.
And, the and so uh, and I'm gonna get to jazz in a minute because that's
Hmm.
yeah. We have that's one of our favorite things to do is
Gotta have it, man.
go get it, man. And so Cleveland is one of our spots too. We love Cleveland.
Good.
Indianapolis. Uh,
Another good spot.
yeah, it's really in the Jazz Kitchen in Indianapolis. Anybody over go to.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
We've
man.
been there. Yep.
Yeah, it's nice. And so, but anyway, getting back to my point.
You're
How
fine, man.
the but sitting there in that parking lot, driving by this our facility now, right?
Mhm.
And hearing the Lord say to me, you know, inquire about that. And I'm
Mm.
saying to myself, well, it belongs to somebody else. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's doing good work out of there. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
It wasn't a ministry like ours, but they were doing
Mhm.
good work and different things of that nature. But what I didn't know was that particular group had already made provisions and plans to shut the building down. So
Oh.
they were already moving out and transitioning everybody that they had in that location and
Hmm.
centralizing their services for that area, right?
Oh, wow.
And I didn't even know that, right? Um, and so, but when you see those things moving, and I said that because when you say parallel things, sometimes you have to see how God connects to people,
Right.
and you don't have to uh, be hanging out all the time, be all those
Mm-mm.
times, but you got to know when God spiritually aligns you with certain
That's right.
people
Hmm.
because you learn from them, they learn from you, you get to
Right.
see some things that move. And I just believe, man, that God puts people in areas because he knows what that next area needed. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And we've
Exactly.
always tried to be that church. I remember somebody reading a statement one time. If your church closed down, would that community miss you?
Would they even know that you're gone?
Yeah, would they
Exactly.
even know that you're gone, right? And man, we did work in that community. So
Hmm.
and we still have people that really comes from over that side of town and
Really?
and different things of
That's
that
good.
nature, man, because
That's good.
they say it all the time, man, what happened to y'all? What happened? But now I know God doesn't remove without replacing.
No.
You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? And I just believe whatever God has in your heart to do is going
Right.
to be bigger and better than what we
Yeah.
ever did in that community. You know what I'm saying? And that's not taken away from nobody else that's over there because uh, Randall Parker does great work,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
Dave Kaiser with Mosaic Ministry, they do great
Hmm.
work. And I believe you're on the board on their board for
Yeah.
one
On
ministry.
Mosaic Ministries.
Yeah, and Josh and Joy with Vision Ministries, man, and
Yep.
all these great. I mean, South Toledo is rich. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
good. It
And
is.
now they have this other component coming in
Mhm.
to not take away from that, but to complement
Mhm.
everything else that's going on.
Compliment.
And man, I'm just excited for what God's going to do through the Movement Church over in South Toledo, man. So just know we're rooting for you.
Man, I appreciate that. I'm glad, and I'm going to tell you this too. This vlog, what they call it,
Yeah,
vlog.
yeah.
This is a great format. And this is so you. You've always been informative, um, in a counseling way, and you've always been a person that shares ideas and concepts with others, so everybody can get the same thing. And I've always admired that about you. I said, Charles ain't trying to steal nothing. Charles, if you got it, he's like, can I use it? And we'll all use it together. Or
Yes.
if I got it, you want to use it. And I think this format, because I like the background, I like all this stuff, man. This is a great format for you because it allows others to see more of what God has for you.
Mm.
Um, I've always said this, people got to find out, because people don't use this word no more, niche, but people got to find out what they're called to do.
Yes.
The pulpit ministry is one thing, but I can't just be a pulpit ministry type of dude.
Right.
There's got it, because now look what's going on. We just pulpit ministry brothers, we out of a job.
Yes.
But there's more, this guy uses the word specificity. There's more specificity that we have, that God's using this time that we're dealing with to pull that out of us.
Yes.
And then that will put you in better lights and put you in around more people. I'm excited about Paul Devers, man. You know, it's one of my favorite heroes in the city of Toledo out there in Savannah. I want to definitely listen to him when he gets on, because I love hearing entrepreneurs and people who are businessmen, how they grew what they grew.
Yeah.
And so you bringing that together, man, the church is not doing that. The church is still bringing church leaders, but you're bringing leaders together. And so some of our concepts may differ, but most of them are all the same. And how we can better ourselves and be more efficient and take care of our communities. So, man, this format that you're doing, dude, I'm all for it. This is phenomenal.
Praise
this
God.
is so
Praise God.
you. I told my wife, I said, this is so I said, I couldn't do this. I said, I couldn't, you know, I'm too hood. I'm too, I don't know, ratchet, as they say. I said, I couldn't have the discipline to put things together, to ask the right questions. I said, she said, yeah, you would get mad at everybody and be like, okay, you next. I said, I don't have it. I said, but Charles has the discipline for this. And because this is so needed, we need your voice. Not just from the pulpit. I'm not minimizing that at all. But there's so much to you. This is why you got the building that you got. Because there's so much more to you that God is doing. So, man, I encourage you, don't stop, Charles. Don't stop at all, bro. This is what you're doing here. This is gonna blow up even bigger.
Yeah. I appreciate that, man, because you know you get nervous, you know, when you do anything outside of your comfort zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, I always look at it, man, because I admire so many different leaders, and I admire pastors, particularly those of you guys that really preach good. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, there's a few of you guys, man, like I would tune in to listen to, because I just love the flow. I love the anointing and all those things. But it's interesting, man, because, you know, a few weeks ago, God highlighted a secular guy, like, you know, to me. And this person, and I just say it, Jamie Foxx, right? So I mean, like, I wasn't even watching anything have anything to do with Jamie Foxx at the time. But he highlighted something to me, and he just showed me how comedy, it was you know, he started off in this comedy, but music was his passion. Right? And so that open a door to that. Like, he's not the best comedian to me. I mean, he's a funny dude. You know, don't get me wrong.
But he's not. You're right.
Don't crack on me if you ever see this.
But you're right. I mean,
you know, he cracks very well. He's a funny dude. But his stand-up, to me, is not as phenomenal as his singing voice. You know what I'm saying? And so although he's funny as heck, it's just, you know, his singing, man, is so much for phenomenal, right? And so sometimes, you know, we start off in one vein, because really I love preaching, I love teaching. My passion, though, is, like you said, how do we simulate information? How do we help people grow together? And so me helping people grow, this is just another form of that, is introducing people and concepts to leaders, and that we all grow together, as you said, man. And it just, I'm just saying that because that brings a confirmation to my spirit, just to how God was showing that, because I was really, man, kind of like, man, you know, people don't think I'm gonna stop, you know, because I ain't focusing on building our church whatsoever. Like, we at all. You know, our main focus is that community, homeless families, and how do we help pastors and small, you know, entrepreneurs and businesses grow
Yeah.
and be more impactful. And
That's
so
good,
everything
man.
we're doing inside that facility is all roped around those three concepts. So
Yep.
now we're gonna keep worshiping,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna keep worshiping, man, until and not that I just want other ministries and churches to help me get the spiritual component in that community. Saturday, Friday night, all the way to Sunday afternoon evening.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then
Okay.
it may be a different ministry and church in there, but I want that empowerment. That if I just feel like no matter what we do, if you don't have that spiritual empowerment, man,
It won't work.
ain't nothing else working.
That's a good thing, bro. I love it. Like I said, I'm not saying pulpit ministry is not there. I just know there's so many other dynamics to you that this is a great. I wish we had more platforms like this. This is a good platform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man. And thank you for joining me today, man. Thank you for being just ready to accept the call to that. And so real quick, man, just tell people how to contact you. How can they see your church, visit your church online, and all those things, and in person too.
So our name of our church is the Movement Church of Toledo. That's our official name. We're located at 1501 Western Avenue, 43609, which is the south side area. You can also reach us online. Our website is www.themovementcity.org. You can get us on Facebook under The Movement Church or my personal name, Pastor Rodney Jackson. We do have a YouTube page, so you can find that under The Movement Church. We also do have an Instagram page. It's called Toledo Movement Church. And that's pretty all the avenues that we have, but we worship every Sunday when we get back to worshiping. But we are doing it live now. So we worship every Sunday at 12 o'clock. Actually, Charles, I may change mine to 1 o'clock because I'm finding that 11 to 12 is quite saturated.
Yes.
And so I'm like, I don't want to compete. I always like to do things differently. So we are meeting this Saturday to see if we're going to change our online live to 1 o'clock instead of 12. Even though 12 is still a good time, that 11 to 12 is still very saturated. So we're going to move out to a later time and allow more people to be able to view our ministry and enjoy what the Lord is saying to us at that point. So that's how you reach us, man. So we're staying tuned. We're excited about the new building that we're in. Of course, I'm here now.
Yeah,
and,
man.
Just keep doing what God has called us to do.
Amen. Man, well, I appreciate your ministry, man. We're excited about everything that God is doing. Tell your wife we said hello. We can't wait till we hit some jazz spots.
We got to hit them.
Yeah,
we got to hit them. I got some spots I got a spot in Grosse Pointe, Michigan that'll blow your mind.
Really?
Yeah, we got to go. When the weather gets better and this stay-at-home board is over, our wives and we're going to take a trip out there together. I'm driving and I'm buying, so you ain't got no choice.
Awesome, man. Looking forward to it, man. Well, thank you again, brother. And just keep up the good work, man. Keep moving forward as you do. And so, and it's just awesome to watch, and it's awesome to see the growth and everything that God has done up to this point.
Thank you. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, man. Until next time, brother.
All right. Talk with you soon.
All right. God bless.